is an organization that right, I'm a different thing. Right.
President for Ohio.
It is a collection of liberty groups from around the state of Ohio. It started when the liberty movement got started or got rolling, a few years ago, 3-4 years back.
Is it accurate to say it's the largest Tea Party, informally, group of Tea Party associations or Tea Party groups in the state? Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, you say I prefer liberty groups, but
yeah.
If you want to call it that, I would say I'm unaware of any organization that's larger than ours. So,
okay.
So we have, we communicate regularly with tens of thousands of grassroots Ohioans who are concerned about liberty. Our fundamental principles stand in this idea of fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets. And so we're concerned about this issue because we really feel that it violates every principle really that we stand for. This is a solution for people struggling that relies on bigger government, more debt. It doesn't look to the free market for solutions. And when you hear a lot of what's happened, when you hear people speaking and some of the testimony, if you came up for the hearings, a consistent theme is that the prime mover behind a lot of the struggling that people are having in Ohio, the difficulty people are facing in our state, is the fact that our economy is not as strong as it should be. I mean, people talk about a hard time getting jobs, they talk about job loss, and so it's our belief that legislators in the state would do better to focus on instituting policies that would make Ohio more prosperous, ways to make companies want to come here and improve the situation in Ohio in terms of investment and entrepreneurship, so that there would be jobs and opportunities, so there would be less of a challenge for those that are struggling. One little story about this is that if you look at a juxtaposition between Ohio and South Carolina, Ohio used to be #1 in tire manufacturing. Okay? In recent years in South Carolina, the Michelin Tire Company has invested another $750 million in a new plant there. They've added $200 million more to an existing facility. Bridgestone Tires put a $1.2 billion facility in South Carolina. Continental Tire, another $500 million. If you get this you put all these pieces together, South Carolina is rapidly becoming #1 in an industry that we were #1 in. Now we're about number 11 in tire manufacturing. So one might ask, what's going on? What systemic economic changes or policies can be made in our state that would make it more conducive or more favorable for investment? I mean, if you look at Michigan and Indiana that just recently went to workplace freedom states, become right-to-work states, that's going to have an impact on Ohio. Companies are going to have a choice to locate along that border of Indiana, Ohio, and many of them are going to select Indiana because the environment's more favorable for investment and business. And so that's going to be more jobs for people in Indiana, that's going to be more opportunity, and it's going to be less so for people in Ohio. And the weaker our economy is, the more people struggle, the more we have these problems. Whereas the stronger it is, all boats rise on that tide. Even really funding available to do government work. I mean, a lot of the municipalities and government sectors that are struggling because they have revenues that are down, it's because their economies are down. So a more prosperous Ohio is better for everyone.
The other side of this, I keep hearing repeatedly, says Ohioans are already paying these billions of dollars in tax dollars that if we don't expand Medicaid eligibility, those dollars are going to go to some other state.
That's just preposterous. Because, literally, seriously, that argument that somehow there's some money, a big pile of money there that's going to go somewhere else if we don't take it. This is money that comes right out of the entitlement pipeline, the federal government entitlement pipeline. As such, this comes from, this is going to cause more debt. That's just not the case. If we don't use this money, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just that we're not causing this debt to arise on the federal ledger. So I just no.
So you don't think they've allocated a special amount?
Well, they've allocated, no. I do not believe that. I don't see it that way. Even if they had, where'd they get the money? There was a lady talking about the Good Samaritan at one of the hearings last week. Oh, we should be like the Good Samaritan, and I totally agree. And I approached her afterwards and I said, well, tell me, if you give me just a detail on the story about the Good Samaritan and how he helped the people who were struggling. So where did the Good Samaritan get the money? Met an answer of silence. We didn't get it from the government. He didn't steal it from future generations with debt. It was his money. We have an individual responsibility to care for our fellow man. And when we have a more prosperous Ohio, more jobs, more opportunity, individuals are stronger in their ability to be able to reach out and care for their fellow man.